So lots of updates lately, and today there's some interesting and maybe not so great news regarding the EV Global Range King. Yep, today we're taking another look at the Lucid and specifically the Lucid Air. What's up, Motorheads, and welcome back to Gearbox Pizza. Alright, so for those of you who may not have heard of these guys, what exactly is this thing? Well, it's the latest EV maker that's trying to steal market share from the dominant Tesla Model S. And it's an interesting effort for sure. I mean, it's really not bad for a brand new company. Obviously, this fella is fully electric and it can be had in 4 different trims. Well, not exactly. 4 different trims and these special kind of first edition models, yada yada. There's the entry-level Air, and that comes with a single motor that drives the rear wheels only and makes about 480 horsepower. Now, all the other Air models in the lineup are going to be all-wheel drive, and next up you have the Touring model, which is good for about 620 horsepower, and then the Grand Touring model, which spits out 1,050 horsepower. Yeah, that's a lot, but get this, that's not even the most powerful option. There's the Dream Edition, and then there's the Dream Edition Performance, the latter making a stunning 1,111 horsepower. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, these days, like 1,000 plus horsepower is like the new 600 horsepower, right? I mean, amazing times we live in. Anyway, the quick one can bang out a quarter mile in just under 10 seconds. And for reference, that's faster than that absolutely crazy 911 Turbo S. So yeah, it's fast, but get this, it's not plaid fast. So if you're one of those fellas that loves to flex your crazy point and smash driving skills at the drag strip, you're gonna wanna stick with your Model S. You just are. Alright, so it's not quite as fast, but look, the Lucid Air does win in the range department, and this is actually pretty amazing. How's 520 miles of range sound? I mean, that's kind of crazy. And this isn't a bait and switch sort of thing where the real world mileage is just gonna be a fraction of what they're saying you can get. I mean, at this point, there's already been a number of independent testers that have achieved well over 500 miles. So this is the real deal. Good on you. All right, so this all sounds great, right? And yeah, it kind of is, if money is of no concern to you whatsoever. You see, these things are expensive, like mega expensive, like close to 200 grand expensive. And believe it or not, they're getting a bit more expensive, but more than that in a minute. All right, so Lucid has been in the news lately for a few reasons. They've shared their Q1 numbers just recently, and there's a little bit to unpack. So in Q1, Lucid did about 57.7 million in revenue from delivering 360 cars. Yes, only 360 cars. So a little bit of math tells us that the average selling price for these is about 160 grand. So look, again, not cheap. Now, even though Lucid only managed to build 360 units in Q1, they're still aiming to produce between 12 and 14,000 units for 2022. And I don't know, all things considered, that does seem a little ambitious, but hey, I'm rooting for them, so I'm hoping they can pull it off. So regardless of slow manufacturing, Lucid still has a pretty healthy 5.4 billion in cash. That should be plenty to fund the company well into 2023. And then there's this sort of bizarre deal they've put together with the government of Saudi Arabia to purchase a guaranteed 50,000 cars with an option to buy up to 100,000 cars. And I don't know, maybe I'm a dum-dum, but, and then somebody's gonna have to explain this to me. I mean, that is a crap ton of very expensive sedans. And what on earth are they planning to use 100,000 Lucid Airs for? I don't know, this whole thing is a little bit odd, but then again, they've got Lambo and Bugatti police cars, so what do I know? Okay, so it's time for the bad news. Yep, I am talking about price hikes, and there's been a lot of this stuff in the news lately. I mean, Tesla seems to bump their prices up a little bit every few months. Rivian just got skewered by dropping a huge price increase. Now, look, they've walked back that price increase for existing reservation holders, but still a little bit of damage done there. Anyway, so the entry-level Pure trim is getting a $10,000 price hike, bringing the base price of the cheapest Air model to about 88 grand. So with some options, this is easily gonna land in 6-figure territory. Then there's the Touring trim, which gets a $12,400 price hike, and then the Grand Touring trim, which is getting a $15,000 price hike. And look, I get it, the world is a very different place now. You know, look, when Lucid set these prices, things were Well, I guess you could say a little bit more tame. Look, everybody's raising prices, that much is clear, but if I'm being totally honest, these sort of already felt pretty expensive, so this is definitely not gonna help. Yeah, so what do you guys think? How does this thing stack up against the competition? So there's the Model S, which is still the absolute drag strip king and kind of has better tech. Then there's the Porsche Taycan and the Audi GT, both of which are just like way more beautiful in comparison and sportier, I'm sure. Then there's the Mercedes EQS and the BMW i7, which is coming out soon. Both of which are flagship products from a pair of car companies that have been building great cars for longer than you and I have been alive. So that brings up another good point. All the competition here, even the Tesla to a lesser extent, well, they have a robust dealer network should you run into any issues. And lastly, we got the price. And the top trim Lucid Air is just like the most expensive of the group, well, except for maybe the Turbo S versions of the Taycan. So look, if it's your money, what are you buying? Let me know in the comments. I'm actually really curious.